So you started the Salzburg Academy on Media and Global Change shortly after you became president here at the Salzburg Global Seminar. Why was that a program you wanted to begin?
Well, first of all, we started
Oh, well, yes, okay.
the Salzburg Academy. Was our co-founding that got it started, and you were the first director, of course. But I think we had just adopted a new mission statement for the Salzburg Global Seminar. And we'd put the word global in our name also. It had been the Salzburg Seminar before. And I think what we were after was a way of challenging present and future leaders to solve issues of global concern. That was our mission statement. And when we looked at all the problems of global scale, we recognized that every single one of them had to be communicated more clearly if solutions were to be found. And obviously media had a role to play in that. Secondly, as someone who had spent most of my career working in radio and television and in the latter part in some internet work, I recognized that the world of journalism and media were changing at warp speed, and that the whole field needed to be rethought if it were going to be effectively used and harnessed to the explication of policy issues. And so one way of attacking that was through the education lens, through the educational field, and to see if we could have some role in helping to train the next generation of media innovators and leading journalists. And the Academy grew out of that objective.
Well, I've been in universities for decades, and one of the things that's always struck me is that departments and fields outside of journalism schools and communication departments often don't feel like media matters. But it was so clear to me that there is no department, there is no field, there is no institution, there's no issue where media is not fundamentally at the core, because media help to frame the problem, shape our understanding of what is at issue. And then, because they've done that, they help to articulate what possible solutions may be. So that framing and that solution finding is critical. And what I thought, and what I think we thought, was it would be great not just to bring journalists and media together, yes, certainly those, but also people coming from the sciences, coming from the humanities, coming from the social sciences, and not just from one institution, my institution, but from institutions around the world. So you may recall that the first university we went to was on a lecture trip to China, and they were very excited about this idea. And with their buy-in, we then went around to universities on 5 continents and got a great group of partners to start it all off.
You know, when we started this program, we really saw an opportunity to elevate the discussion of media across the world and to tackle the question of how do we train in a world that's changing so fast, and the field of media and journalism changing so fast. How do we train the next generation to be effective in their journalism, effective in media innovation, and creating the next vehicles that will define the next period in journalism? And the Academy grew out of the belief that we could do something here that would really have an effect across the world.
Yeah, I really wanted to come on board with this idea because the concepts that drive this, of that media is important across issues and across the world, is at the heart of what universities need too. There's not a discipline, there's not a department, there's not a future career where students and faculty don't need to understand the importance of media in shaping problems and in identifying solutions.
Well, I think as we look to the future, what we've been doing becomes only more important, but also the chance to take advantage of the big issues that the Salzburg Global Seminar is tackling and the topicality each year of the subjects that the Media Academy takes up can be brought together more closely.
Like this year, for example,
Exactly.
we're doing migration, and
Yes.
boy, how timely a topic is that, with refugees being in the news and being in the sort of political conversation, whether we're talking Europe, whether we're talking Africa, the United States, of course, Latin America, and Asia. There's probably not a continent where it's not a core issue, and that's, of course, why we've picked it up this year.
And alas, the future. When you think about rising seas and the effect of climate will have on literally tens of millions of people who will be required to move from their homes to new places of residence. This is going to serve up enormous challenges for the entire world. And we like to think these are the kinds of big, meaty challenges that a place like Salzburg and a place like the Media Academy can add value to.
I mean, my thought about that, too, is that we've got some of the best students from around the world, not only working on critical issues, but of course going to be the future leaders in their countries of origin. And boy, what a great marriage.